In a world where so many people have questions about their futures, their hopes, their dreams, Trinity Lutheran College has arrived in Everett, Washington with a mission to enlighten both the mind and the spirit. There's just one question. Who is Trinity?
I think that the identity of the college being Christ-centered, Bible-centered, helping young people be ready, prepared to serve the church and the world and have an impact for Christ, those things are all still part of our identity.
So I see that Trinity has an explicit commitment to faith, learning, and living, and the integration of those things all together. And so at Trinity we talk about this living and learning community, and what that really means at its heart is that we practice as a community, faculty, staff, and administrators, along with students, trying to figure out how to put into practice what we're thinking through in the classroom. I saw in Trinity the possibility of being able to have a real commitment to the life of the mind without ignoring the other dimensions of our humanness.
Trinity has given me opportunities to explore things that I would not have necessarily done outside of this place. So even if you have interests that aren't necessarily in the curriculum, you can still explore them and learn them, and and your advisor will help you find resources to kind of spark that in you.
No one has a particular cookie cutter path. No college student comes here thinking, I'm going to come and I'm going to study this and I'm going to go study business for 4 years and go out and work in the field, and everybody is different in that. And so I really like working with people, figuring out what is the best version of themselves, and then what do they need, what kind of challenges, what kind of support do they need to help explore and become that ideal version of who they are.
We wanted to get professionals in the world that were leaders, that were faithful, that were ethical, and we're doing that now by asking students to take what they're learning in their biblical training and bring it into conversation with all sorts of facets of life.
When we moved to Everett, we had a massive shift. Our apartments, you actually have to walk outside to get to class, and they're a couple of blocks away. And on the way, you're gonna walk by everyday Everett people, and you may see a homeless person sleeping underneath an awning or along those lines, so you're encountering the real world in between classes. We are building a gaming center so people can come down in between class, shoot some pool or study in a different environment that's outside of the library. And then we provide programs that are hopefully friendly to all students. So we do De-Stress Fest every year, where we get big, giant blow-up activities so people can, beat the crap out of each other with oversized Q-tips and do bungee runs and just really let off some of that stress that goes along with finals week.
I love learning. I love an academic environment that is a learning environment that doesn't ignore the fact that all of us are asking really heavy and sometimes fun, but really serious, ultimate questions about life.
The privilege of being a Bible teacher is to be immersed in Scripture and have that truth be reminded to me day after day after day. Because I think in some respects life is, I need that. I need that constant reminder. And it seems like life is one big lesson to learn to trust God, and I need that reminder. With the challenges of going through my husband's brain cancer and the ordeal of 2.5 years, one of the highlights, amazingly, in that journey was a homily that one of our biblical studies majors led in chapel last spring. And he said, so what? What really makes a difference? it is. Our whole lives are different because we believe in the resurrection. So in the midst of going through my husband's cancer and death and grieving, and which is ongoing, it makes just the critical difference to know of the hopeful promise of the resurrection. Ravi Zacharias was saying that's the difference between belief or convictions, and belief is something you hold, and sometimes they change depending on the circumstance, but convictions are something that hold me, and I had a faith that held me through the grief and the loss. And that's what I wish for my students, that they would have a foundation that is solid, so when the troubles come, when the crises come, that they will have something that will hold them.
In a place like Trinity, our size, our small size, is one of our greatest strengths in being able to be a laboratory for this truly grace-centered ethos.
We have 80 students and we're growing to 103. And students are going, it's getting bigger. You know, this is, I don't know. And I'm trying to make sure where I can to say, we are real small, we are real tiny, and we're going to continue, we're going to triple our enrollment, and we're still going to be tiny.
And so if we hit that critical mass of students where we get enough that people can find someone or a group of people to connect with, but still remain small enough that I can take every student out for a cup of coffee in a given year and have a conversation with them, that to me is where Trinity should be in the future. Big enough that everybody can connect, but small enough that we can connect one-on-one with faculty and staff.
The impact that Trinity can have, I think, will be enhanced greatly when people see us as a quality, happening place where there's good things going on here. That's why I think some people are coming in and knocking on our doors saying, can we invest in you, and can we bring our programs to you, and so on.
So there's no place I'd rather be, because it's just this wide open horizon with Trinity, and not a lot of places that can boast that, not a lot of deans that can have that kind of joy and that kind of excitement every morning when you get up and think about what's possible.